Hello everyone, this is the Great Pumpkin speaking and welcome to this new PvP video about Dragonfable. So up until now we've actually done PvP with nearly all of the non-joke classes that there are. The only one we're really missing right now is the Dread Pirate, which is about the same as the Pirate really, aside from one slight change in skill. The Evolved Chicken Cow Armor, as well as the Dragonslayer. And there was another one that I forgot, but there was no point to it. The others are seasonal armor, like the Frostmoglin or the Shadow Hunter, which unfortunately I don't have right now. So we're just gonna go ahead and head over to the PvP to see how well the ninja does. Let's do this. And before you ask, yes, I changed my character's haircut because what the hell? And besides, that little maid hat made me laugh, so whatever. Actually, it's one of the things I saw about the Royal Gala earlier. They had this bit where you either went in a suit or a dress to the gala itself, and I realized that the dress was actually pretty much made for a character with long hair. Otherwise, you look kind of silly, which was my case. So anyway, for the ninja, I bought this little trinket that is sold in Book 1 back in the Shadow of the Wind Village. And yes, it is only obtainable in Book 1. This is the Summon Honda trinket, which won't allow me to use the spiked leather gauntlet. What this does is basically add a skill to your character, which will allow you to do something special, which is what we're gonna see as we go through this. So, let's do this. It's still fairly early, so hopefully we should see about the same as what we see usually. So we start off against Kaisa, who is a regular warrior. So now, the thing about the ninja class is that it's mostly based on dots for the most part. It has a few special things, but that's pretty much what it does. So let's see what it can do. Let's start with the Blood of the Lotus poison. Bam. So 30 damage. Next one, if I'm not mistaken, is the it's the Summon Honda. So we're summoning an illusion of Honda, which actually attacks the enemy. So what that does is actually do another bit of dot with 46 damage from Toxic Gas. After that, we'll use the Scorpion Venom to apply yet another dot, so we're up to 3 right now. Oh, she did her big hit. Good for her. It's kind of nice. The sword kind of looked like a sword, so that's cool. Yeah, the sword looks like a staff. Whatever. So we're gonna use Viper Venom, and now we are up to 4 dots going on concurrently. So from what we saw, that's about 125 damage. That's not quite a lot, honestly. It's good, but I've seen higher damage, to be honest. I'm not entirely sure whether I'm set up quite right. There's got to be a way to improve dot damage. It's not quite... well, it might be on par with the classic Dragon Lord, but I don't really remember what it was like, so... Now we've got this move, Catalyst, which deals more damage for each poison on the enemy. Right now, she's got about 4 of them on her, so I'm hoping it's gonna do decent damage. And unfortunately, I'm gonna be disappointed. That's about 200 damage, which isn't that much. Still, the ninja is supposed to be about on par with the pirate class, so I suppose this is to be expected. So he's got a bunch of stings, like that rapid attack to deal some damage, can use vanish to improve critical, a bunch of things basically to debuff the enemy or just stun. Right now we're going to use massive strike for an automatic critical, about the same of that catalyst we use. So let's do another one. Bam. Not particularly impressed, although they already did the revision on it. I would kinda like for each class to be about the same level of power, except maybe the basic ones. Maybe at some point they'll improve the dragon version of each armor, hopefully. So we're gonna use rapid attack. The thing is, it's not that bad. I may be underrepresenting it. It's mostly because I'm used to classes that do so much damage that The ninja feels a little weak by comparison. Oh good. And she must be pretty happy because she'll get an easy opponent against her, although I'm not sure if they actually face off against the actual character. The way the matchmaking is done, I'm not entirely sure. So boom, one of our poison must have been down. Whatever the case, let's continue. So right now we're up against the Doom Knight. I doubt I will have much chance against him, but whatever. We'll just let him start his sting and stun him. Because that's how you deal with Doom Knights. This was actually a quest boss at some place during the Shadow of the Wind saga. I'm not entirely sure. Probably is. So next we'll just go ahead and stun him. Oh, but he's immune to the mobility effect. Ah. Little bastard. Oh no, he wasn't, huh? Oh well, good for me. So now this is done, all of our poison odds are on. Let's move on to Catalyst. And only 2 turns left for our Doom Knight fella. The armor really has a bit of a classic vibe about it. Most of the armor got redone to some extent, the ninja didn't. Although back in the days, the ninjas and parrot class actually used to get special moves based on your base class. For instance, the pirate had a really good thing going on with the hex move. Well, at least that's what I'm told anyway. So we're up against the Cthulhu Adept this time. Well, whatever. We'll make do with what we have. Nice ninja move there. Although that's not usually what I expect when I'm looking at a ninja-based character, although I might have watched too much anime or have too much, shall we say, preconceived notions about what a ninja should do. So, summon Honda. Truth is, I'm not even sure that Honda actually boosts Catalyst. I'm assuming it does. But then again, an additional dot isn't necessarily a bad thing. And he hit himself, because that's what Cthulhu Adepts do. At some point I actually thought it was only the Cthulhu Adept that did that, because it was some sort of crazy madness class. Turns out it wasn't. Oh well, things happen, you know? Whee! Probably won't make any difference, he's gonna fully heal himself pretty soon. As far as I'm concerned, I don't have any stun to deal with him, so I have to make do with what we have. You massive headache. Not even sure what this does at all. Maybe it's written, maybe it's just damage over time. And it's 25 to immobility, huh? They can do that. Yep, healed for about 1,000. Because that's what he do. Okay, so how far are we? Got maybe 2 turns of poison left, which means that we can continue. It's nice that its critical seems to have a really low cooldown. That makes things easier. And he hits himself for 300 damage, because why not? I don't have many Dragon Coin armor, to be honest. Oh, that strike actually has 15 turn cooldown. I'm completely out of it. Oh well. Healed himself again. That's annoying. So, let's see. Our other things are still on cooldown, so we can just put the Viper Venom back on. Might even have a shot at beating me, really. Kind of wondering whether there's a weapon with a, how can I say, damage effect that will actually cause poison. It's something I'm gonna have to research at some point. So that's it for this. Let's do a catalyst and finish him up. Bam. Alright. That's it for the ninja. Now we're just gonna quit for the time being because I can't be bothered to do two more. But we're actually gonna do something a little different from this point on. Although I will have to do some preparation to do that. There was the Dragonslayer class that we didn't show up until now. That's mostly because its skills are pretty bad as far as these go. Still, there are some things that we can do with the Dragonslayer, which just got released at least. We're going to be going at the edge of time and face off one of the challenges, which is going to pit us against dragons. So that is what we're going to do. For this, no, I'm not going to use Stan, because that's what I do. I'm just going to go ahead and hide that helmet, then we'll head to the bank to retrieve my special Dragonslaying sword. It's a fluffy! Reference to Despicable Me 1, although I'm sure there's a similar reference within other things. That is done. Bank. Lady has the same haircut as I do. So what do we got? Ah yeah, that dragon blade. This is a replica weapon from Galanote's weapon, which actually has a triggered effect, which is good against dragon. So that is the weapon we're gonna use for this. Alright. This is actually new from this week right now, where Thursday, and this was released last Friday. So here we are. And strangely, it looks like the inn in Falconreach, even down to the challenges thing. Really, it's about the same. There's a lot about this place to see, but I'm not gonna bother explaining them for now. So now we have 3 challenges: Oratat the Holy, Gilunquist the Frostworm, and Trigoras the Three-Headed. So we're gonna do a random challenge and see what we get. If it's Oratat, I'm gonna be pissed. Oh, how lucky! That's Trigoras, which used one of the same sprites as was some of the Chimera enemies back in Adventure Quest Worlds. What's interesting about Trigoras is that he was actually featured in the Artix Entertainment Clicker Dragons. Basically, he was a 3-headed dragon that you had Tramezang and so on, and grew up and had his own storyline to figure out, you know, what he was. Anyway, so the Dragonslayer class is pretty much tailor-made to face off against dragons. That's obvious, right? And most of its effects are really powerful on dragons, but not that powerful against anything else. So we'll start with Draconic Blind and make it nearly impossible for him to do anything. So you see, we've dodged that, no problem. He's pretty huge though. I'm actually really happy we didn't get Horatat. Next we'll do Draconic Poison, which is gonna do a heck of a number on this guy. See? 1000 damage, just like that. And it would be even more if I actually had Stan Discano with me. I might bring him up at some point. Next up, we're gonna use the Slayer's Keen Eye. Bam. For critical damage, of course. Next up, we're gonna use the Draconic Element, which won't do much since he doesn't seem to have an element. It won't do any special effect as far as I'm concerned. Although, might be something special in here. Let's see. Slayer Aura, nope. Nothing really special. Nothing really on me too. So, that's taken care of. Next we can do Strike for some additional damage against draconic enemies. Charging his breath. Good for him. Now we can use a CFTFD, Call for the Fire Dragon, which makes absolutely no sense. It's a good animation, but I feel like the breath is a little weird. Kinda looks like Acrylot's head, which is strange that a Dragonslayer would actually get to use that. But you know, whatever. There are a couple of things we can use, like for instance the Draconic Blaze, which is using the dragon's own fire against himself. And we can summon Drakewind. I'm mostly using the skills randomly at this point, doesn't really matter what I use. It's mostly the dot that does most of the work. There, let's poison him again. So yeah, in the beginning these dragons were actually really difficult and people were kind of scrambling to defeat them with regular class, which is something that happened to me as well. And I've actually managed to defeat most of the dragons using the Ascended Chicken Cow. However, I had the most success, as I said, with the Dragonslayer. And it's a good thing, because the Dragonslayer doesn't have much going for it. So it's nice that there's at least one challenge in the game where it just destroys things. So that is good. And that's it for our pal Trigoras. We've done it and we got a Dragon Merit, which can be used to get a bunch of weapons, among others here the Great Grey one, which I've managed to get to level 85. I kind of wanted a weapon that had an uncommon element in the off chance that it was useful, as well as the Isandel, which is a sword that I'm gonna use to increase the strength of my ice weapons. I didn't have many, so not much to be done against that. Now the next thing I'm gonna do is that we're gonna cut off right here for the time being, and I'll be taking another class which I will try to showcase a character in such a way that is actually a Beastmaster, which is basically a character that uses both guests and actual pets to improve its damage. That is achieved by messing with the stats that we have here, namely Charisma and so on. So I'll get back to you then. So here we are back at the Necropolis and the TA challenge. While we were off screen, I switched back to Master Soulweaver, and don't let yourself be fooled, having the Baltail Aventail equipped does nothing. It's simply for the cool factor, if you will. So what I did is that I boost my Charisma up to 200, the same for my luck, and push my strength just a tiny bit. So I could actually run as Beastmaster. And while I was off screen as well, I went to get Aegis from the Book 3 version, and as well as Simon Bellamount from the Book 3 as well. So we're gonna do the extreme version of TA's challenge. Let's do this. So now I've also equipped my pet dragon, who used the ice element, and we'll start with a Soul Burst. Basically, the idea is to show you what a Beastmaster class could accomplish. Usually, a good Beastmaster class will be a class that uses mostly dots or things that aren't nearly as affected by weapon damage. That makes a half-decent choice for the Master Soulweaver, although it would work even better with a Necromancer or the Death Knight. So, you know, something to think about. These NPCs aren't so bad, maybe not the better one, but they have a couple of skills that hit multiple times. Albeit they kind of run out of steam at some point. Still, they do nicely. Although they can die, and having guests will also increase the number of HP of your opponents. Although I think for TA's challenge that doesn't apply. So we're going to use Domain of Ice to reduce his resistance to Frost. And we'll use Soul Sink to get things going. I could use the Ice Blade Storm. This is an AoE attack, so it won't do much against this guy. And Simone isn't doing so well, because, well, she got hit by the Doom Energy, she ain't gonna last forever. That luck skill is actually a good thing for my Dragon Pet, which means that he's gonna be able to use his skill more often. We're gonna use Repentance to put a dot on him. So we're doing actually pretty good damage. I'm actually impressed. That's the first time I actually try a full-blown Beastmaster. And he just does pretty well actually, so that's good. We're gonna use Spears. Dragon is gonna attack because that's what he do. We can use the Frozen Serpent to attempt to stun him, but he's immune to stun, so whatever. You can only get Aegis as a guest if you are actually one of the Soulweaver class. So there really isn't much point at actually using him otherwise. So let's use the Soul Sink. And hopefully not kill him. Hopefully they... Well, that didn't happen, so that's good. And let's just go ahead and finish him. Oh, we don't have an impact. We actually have to do the impact beforehand. Oh, that's fine. That's not a problem. So what was it? Does he actually have something that annihilates the soul? Oh yeah, he does. Is it gonna take him down though? Apparently it won't. Oh well, doesn't matter. So we've beaten TA's challenge, so I suppose we did pretty alright. So to finish up, we're gonna try something else, for the heck of it. Well actually I'll just meet you back there, see what happens. So here we are back at the Battlespire. I took the liberty to swap my pet a bit and my class, so we'll be going as a Death Knight this time around. And I've also taken the opportunity to see if we can actually use guest in PvP, and apparently we can't. That is fine. That will be a little mean for other players anyway. Although then again, if you want to play as Beastmaster, then you know, that's your choice. So we're gonna go ahead and do what we can about this guy. We'll start with Reap. And we've got our dragon, which has been changed to a Darkness Elemental. And we're up against the Doom Knight. Oh boy! We'll use right to steal his life. At least I think that's the one. It might have been something else. Nope, that was the one. So he's got some half-decent dots on him. He has Lash from my Dragon and Dark Right from my Death Knight, as well as the usual dot that you usually get when you get him. So that's good. We're going to use the Empowered Armor Strike. Lots of hits. It goes down pretty quickly, actually. I got lucky, I suppose, that my dragon used exactly what he should have used. With one slight exception, although we're a little more, how can I say, vulnerable to that Death Knight, given that we don't have nearly as much endurance as we would usually do. Kind of thought that maybe we would have a shot, but doesn't seem like we will. That is too bad. And that thing is gonna kill us, so... What do I do? I don't think I'm gonna win this one. I don't think that's even possible. Well, yeah. Way too much. Huh. I had good darkness resist though, I nearly made it. Okay, good, that's better. We're off against Dragonlord, the evil Dragonlord. Who would have thought? So same thing, basically. You can see, all that stat put in luck and charisma actually made things a little difficult for me. If I wanted to win against that other Doom Knight, I should have stunned him. That's the problem. So, Dark Right. Oh, and we'll be stunned for 3 turns because I didn't think of stunning him. That is my fault. Honestly, I don't think we actually reduce his resist to darkness. Using another element for my dragon would actually have been a better choice. Let's have a look. Yeah, no special resistance. He actually has 54 of darkness resist, so that's not nearly as good as it could be. Probably because he's using the Death Knight accessories, much like I am. making a number on me. That is pretty much the move that you want when you have a pet dragon on. With a luck skill, that should happen fairly often. So, let's use Fear to stun him for now. Our dragon healed us, how nice of him. Use our minion. Should actually have used the equipment strike. And good. Let's go for the next one. Oh, another Doom Knight. Oh boy. Is that the one Easy Doom now? Doesn't seem so. He might be. That might actually be a variant one also. Ah, that is the kicker. Okay, do a final. Having support move didn't go so well for my dragon, although that's helpful when you're up against bosses and so on. Didn't I put Darkrai on him? Sounds like I didn't. My bad. And done for that Doom Knight. Since we've had a loss, let's do one more. Oh, against another... What's actually an evil Dragon Lord with the Dragon Blade. Must have been someone farming those challenges, as well as the fact that he's probably running with the Dragon Lord's Rage. So that is good. Seem to be equipped about the same as the other guy. Yep, 46 darkness resist. Oh boy. Weapon doesn't seem to be doing much against me though. Got that thing, he's gonna stun me. So let's do it before he can. Let's go with the armor strike. And that's gonna be it. So I hope you had fun having a look at that last ninja class that we needed to do, as well as the Dragonslayer and the Beastmaster configuration. So that's going to be it for the time being. Thank you for watching everyone. This was Great Pumpkin. You all have a pleasant time now. Bye bye!